Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up. Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Car era lore. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain. Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out to
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Jim, welcome to Coffee with Cap. I'm Cap. We are live on YouTube and Abstract, and X is tripping. So we're going to go do another update on the X app, and we're going to try to fire it back up here again. But yeah, it kept kicking everyone from the audio space, checked updates, and there was another one available. So taking forever to update as well. Usually these updates are pretty quick. So I don't know, maybe it was a larger one than normal, but nevertheless, I'm going to kill the old space. And we'll fire up a new audio base here momentarily. Yeah, the video should be live. I gotta 1 second. Sorry, this is a curveball. All right, take 2. Coffee with Captain. 1218, does that sound right? 1218. Appreciate everyone who was here and helped get things warmed up. Okay. I believe we're live now. So maybe for the YouTube family and or Abstract, if you could do me a favor and check to see if you can get in the X audio space, I would appreciate it. YouTube always works. So yeah, if you're having trouble this morning, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. YouTube it's like Ethereum, it never goes down. X audio, on the other hand, is kind of like what's a bad blockchain? I was gonna make a Solana joke, but I'm not gonna go there. We are live though. It is pinned up top, the X audio spaces. I think so. It looks like in the chat everyone can hear okay now. But let me go grab my proper links. I will pin up top in a few seconds actually. I will pin up top the YouTube link. as well as the abstract link. And I was going to check. The abstract should still be, the X video was fine. So I believe we're fine with the original abstract link. Yeah, we're good there. So abstract is live, YouTube is live, X video is live, and now X audio spaces is also live. Second time is a charm. It is working. I guess for those of you that might plan to join the stage today, the X audio spaces, go into your app store, make sure you're running the most recent version of X. There was another update. Even if you updated it yesterday, there was another update this morning. And this one seemed like a big one that requires everyone to be on it. Otherwise, X is going to crash again. So Take Two is working. We are good to go. But yeah, if you want to join us on stage, just go make sure you're running the most recent version of X. Get that update in. And yeah, let me go grab. I know I pinned it, but let me go. Or I pinned it in the old space. Let me go grab it and pin it again in the new space. That be it the YouTube link and the YouTube and abstract. I know I pinned abstract, but now I can't even find that. What a morning. 1,218 shows. We're striving to have a perfect show one of these days, but it's not going to be 1,218. So keep tuning in. One of these days, we might get a perfect show. No promises. But all those links are now up top. YouTube, abstract. It's not letting me post abstracts. I said I already posted it, but yet I don't see it anywhere. So you're just gonna have to go find abstract. Oh, there it is. I found it. Sorry. Okay. It's now, we're now done. All the morning checklists are done. Only took 7 minutes this morning. Didn't even have time for a cold open because it took 7 minutes to get things up and running. But we're live. No complaints. We are live. And I hope this is not an indication for the rest of the morning how my tech is going to go, because for the first time ever, back to back morning shows. I said in my morning post, I'm feeling like I'm approaching like actual like real life morning radio host, like actual like a real job where it's not just 2 hours of fun, but 4 consecutive hours on the air this morning. My bladder will be challenged. I already know I don't have enough coffee. So we might have to fit in a real coffee break where I have to brew more coffee at some point throughout the morning here today. But without further ado, we're going to get rolling here this morning. Kind of a lot to get into. I also have a special birthday pack rip this morning from the one and only Teacher Katie. Sent me some goodies that I'm excited about. I'll be unboxing the package and ripping a pack with y'all. Yeah, I should actually go to a coffee shop and stream. That's what I'm missing in my mornings. I should be doing this in a real life coffee shop and talking all this nonsense. The faces I would get on some of the things we talk about, I'm sure would be all time. But GM to all the GMers, appreciate you all helping us get things warmed up, especially with the technical challenges this morning. The extra love on this audio spaces is greatly appreciated because the first one got absolutely nerfed. So those likes, reposts, bookmarks, they go a long way to help get things warmed up, help with discoverability. Machiavelli, 456 AD, Hizzy and Dizzy. Is that a new YouTube handle for Hizzy? Or has it always been the Dizzy part? I missed, or Hizzy and Izzy, maybe, rather, excuse me. Mike Campbell, Dwayne, Web3 Warhead, Mel, Von Frunten, Dobbins, Thomas. Appreciate all the heads up on the audio spaces not working. Zane, I still have yet to use that new emoji, but it's at the top of my to-do list. Absolute zero. Appreciate you all. As I mentioned, we do have not just It's Called Football, but also Dome on Air right after that. So 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. If you've not yet found our It's Called Football YouTube, I'm going to drop that in the chat as well. And yeah, join Ben and I. I see Ben out there. Join us at 10 o'clock here right after the show. We'll be talking Premier League transfer market, some big news brewing. I keep going back and forth if my guy Vinny is going to land with the Arsenal or not. And we also have some training camp news. My beloved 49ers, the electrical substation remains undefeated. And I considering moving out to San Francisco to see if I can walk on the practice squad because they're dropping like flies out there. But actually, in all seriousness, there has been some we always overreact to training camp news this time of year, but I do think there's actually some actionable training camp news for those of you that, whether you're drafting best ball or you're getting ready for your home leagues, your redraft leagues, the standard fantasy football, the traditional fantasy football. Now's the time to get locked in. Don't wait until draft day at the end of the month and buy some print magazine or something and try to catch up with the news. Even if you're not some uber nerd like myself that's hundreds of best ball drafts deep, now is the time to lock in, get ahead of your league mates, and I think you can find a real edge versus the quote unquote normies. And I like, if you've been here, you know that I don't consider it gambling. I hunt EV. I try to get it in spots where I'm positive expected value, or I could expect to win over a long enough run. And while I don't win every DFS slate, I don't win every best ball contest I enter, over the last 20 plus years, I've been an extremely profitable fantasy player. And while I do feel I have an edge in the DFS and the best ball streets, where you really have an edge, or anyone listening in, is in your home leagues. If you're playing with casuals who really don't follow the sport during the off season, and they just tune in and they draft for fun, even if there's, $50 to $100, if there's some skin in the game, those are the leagues I think you can clean up in. And I say this with a lot of confidence because I've done exactly that. And it's that's why I say it's not gambling. It's you can have an edge with data, and sure, injuries can happen, luck can happen, but you definitely can get ahead of the average player just by locking in, getting the information edge. And Ben and I hopefully can share some of that with you for both versions of football, the NFL variety and the Premier League variety. All that said, I do want to hit on some trending topics, news of the day. There's a chance we have a special guest. Things are kind of popping off. Some mints coming up. One will be joining us. Sorry, I just got distracted by a post on the timeline. I'm not going to share here, but we will be getting. I'm checking my DMs to see if this other guest will be joining us, because they have a mint coming up soon. Mints have been popping off, a lot actually happening, but to be determined. If not today, we'll get them on. And speaking of DMs, we're gonna move. It's called Football Today, so I don't have to do the 4 hours in a row. Ben, thank you. That works. We're gonna move today's show to tomorrow. So let's do it. Tomorrow, it's called Football Beat, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then as we start getting settled into the season, that Tuesday and Friday showtime will be locked in. But yeah, little flexible here, preseason activity. So everything I said regarding finding your edge in fantasy sports still exists. You're just going to have to hold off on your drafts for another 24 hours. We will go live at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Today, it's just going to be Coffee with Captain, followed by Doma on Air at 11 a.m. Eastern today. Excited for that one. It's been a few weeks since we've caught up with the Doma crew. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out buycapcoffee.com, our stream board here. Big love to Frosties and OS Wiki, your portal to the other side. Really the most information out there if you're buying other deeds, or quite frankly, anything in the ape ecosystem. They've done a lot of great stuff, just top tier dev, and appreciate the support as always. Check out the board. You can click through any of these links here to the partners down below. Just scroll down there, click through, and yeah, NFTD. My guy Dwayne took over a board slot yesterday, linked his other page. I don't know if you were the nail in the coffin or what happened there, but unfortunately, open page is going to be sunsetting. They announced yesterday, unless someone steps in to effectively take over the platform, open page will be sunsetting here at the end of the month. And it's unfortunate. I really like those guys who were there. Really like the team. I thought they did some great stuff. I thought at one point that a lot of the, if not all the wearables and other side, I thought that was powered by OpenPage. between them and Dashbo. But yeah, I hate to see him go, but wishing him all his sharp team. I'm sure they will land on their feet, and wishing them best in their next venture. But yeah, Dwayne might have jinxed him with the slot linking his open page, and then with hours later they decide to sunset. I kid. I'm sure it's unrelated entirely, but nevertheless, shout out to all of our sponsors. You can find the board at buycapcoffee.com, and we'll give them some love here at the coffee break as well as the end of the show as well. GM Frosties, the legendary Frosties, or Mario, also known as founder dev of OS Wiki. Von Frunten out there buying kits. He's not even a real football fan. He's still calling them jerseys. Even I know better than that. And I am excited for football because of Premier League and best ball, or Premier League best ball and fantasy. I have, I think, one draft left in the $3 on Underdog. This is the first year doing Premier League, so you want to talk about edge. No one knows what they're doing. It is a brand new game. No one's done it, and I'm not just saying this. Like, there is a real edge right now because no one knows what they're doing. It's brand new, and there's a $3 and there's a $15. I'm not going to drop it in the link or in the chat right now, but if anyone needs a ref link for Underdog, let me know. I'm pretty sure the promotion they're still running off my ref link is if you deposit $5, you get $50 in play. You can't cash it out. Obviously, it's play through, but basically you get $55 of play for $5. And if you're into the Premier League, they've got a $3 tournament that's a max 20 entry. I've got one bullet left in that, and then there's a $15 Premier Pup that you can max out at 150 entries. I've been holding off on that just because I've been waiting for more transfer news to settle, but I think now might be the time, because I said it before, like, my guy Vinny Jr. is a superstar, and he doesn't play in the Premier League right now. He very well could stay with Real Madrid, but some big rumors that he may sign with Arsenal, and if so, he's a second round pick, worst case scenario, maybe a first round pick, and you can get him now in, like, I don't know, somewhere between the 90th overall to like 130th. He's fluctuating based on the day and the rumors, but I don't know. Seems like a pretty good swing to take late in a draft. Even though his ADP is like 130, I'll be planning to take him like 90, and someone will take him at like 60th overall. So clearly not the only one thinking that he could be in play, but he's not the only one. There's a lot of players that not even you might transfer into the Premier League. There's also some players that are talking and rumored to be transferring out of, and if they transfer out of, it opens up spots on their team, or even staying within the Premier League. My guy Ben is a Newcastle fan, and their captain Bruno is rumored to be on the move. And this, I mean, that's been this, but I've been drafting. I need to know his take, because I might have it wrong. If Bruno, who's a midfielder, leaves, I'm guessing that opens up more opportunities, whether it's for another midfielder who's maybe been a starter but not featured, or maybe it's a bench player or a backup. It gets moved up to starting. Maybe it's a forward that ends up being featured more. Just different. Again, I'm not claiming to be the expert. That's Ben, but you can tune into, it's called Football Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and here kind of follow my journey as I learn the sport, maybe pick a team, and ask Ben newbie questions that you don't have to feel embarrassed by asking questions that a seasoned player would be well aware of. At least so my pronunciation of Real Madrid has nothing to do with my lack of knowledge of the sport, Von Frunten, and you should know this by now. That's just my Southeastern Ohio vernacular. I can't say the word color properly. I can't say the word dog properly. I pronounce dog like D-O-G like they pronounce it in Cleveland when they call it the dog pound, the D-A-W-G. Same thing with color. I say the color blue and it sounds like a shirt color. So yeah, when I say Real Madrid, it's not because I don't understand how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's just my tongue doesn't allow me to pronounce it properly. But at least I call it a kit, not a jersey. So for someone that's supposed to be teaching me about the new sport, at least get your vocabulary right, Von Frunten. That's I think that's fair to ask. Real Madrid. Is that right? Real Madrid. Real Madrid. Real. See, I don't even pronounce the word all correctly. Somehow I've been able to do this show for 1,218 consecutive days without proper understanding of the English language. But it's what you all are here to help me with. It's a community-based show, and helping me with my phonics is part of it. That said, news and notes on the day. We do have some trending topics. We'll do a quick daily market update here, and yeah, tell me what's on your mind. Robinhood chain? Continues to pop off. We're seeing some exciting hits. The NFTs continue to pop off over there. Volume is trending down from the chain at large. Majors kind of up today, and I'm not sure what exactly to make of it. I don't follow the macro stuff too closely, not my area of expertise, but it seems like could be I don't know. I'm not even going to say like, yeah, we're getting close to things being settled, because I really have no idea. Although I do feel as if the market's warming up. There's more to it than just a short-term pump. I guess before I do daily market update, a couple of news and notes. FWA, they got into their second phase where that first few weeks was internal only. You couldn't buy the token, you could only sell it. Well, they hit the next phase, and Adam, the founder, Rhinotic, he basically, after going on Broke Show and saying they're going to use a percentage of the fees to buy back, says, just kidding, we're not going to use any of the fees. I'm just going to pocket the $2 million in fees that he's collected over the last month, which, hey, as a builder, he's in his right to do that. I think it's pretty short-sighted in my opinion, and it looks like the market agrees with token crashing. And I said it earlier this morning, and I'll say it here on the show. I think there's an opportunity for someone to fork it right now, fork FWA, but have better RTP, better return to player on the split, and actually do some buybacks with the token. Actually, I don't know Adam personally. I'm not going to say it's greed, but it seems kind of short-sighted, seems kind of greedy, and I think the gacha mechanics, as I've said many times, they're not going anywhere. It makes sense. It makes sense for NFTs. It's just build a better ecosystem, build a better. So you guys are also something with a better word than flywheel. But token this morning is down 37% after the news. It's trading at 8 million. Not sure if that's accurate or not, but chart I'm looking at says it's at 7.8 market cap and 8.2 fully diluted. Yeah, I try not to dunk on devs I don't know, and they're all entitled to make money, so please don't take that the wrong way. I feel that they were onto something, and maybe they recover. Maybe this is just a move to get the naysayers to sell off, and they go in and buy a bunch of token, and then they introduce a better model. But you guys launched like a dozen projects, and I guess Punk strategy is still it's still going. All the strategies are going, but I don't think they're necessarily doing great. And I wonder, not to go off on a rant here, I wonder how the teams that launched their main token, in particular Good Vibes Club and Chimpers are the two to come to mind. I know there's more, but those are the two that come to mind in terms of that was like their primary token. They didn't launch their own fungible token, rather they launched it on Punk Strategy, their strategy tokens, to participate in the flywheel. And as I keep zooming out, I'm looking for a better, more optimistic spot on the chart, and it's not great. Really been pretty much, for all intents and purposes, down only for the last, this is just the last week. Let's look at the last month. I don't know why my chart's doing this. That's not a good chart. Anyways, token performance has not been great, and I wonder, I'm trying to find the pricing of the others. I've been on here for a minute. I don't know why I can't find the other ecosystems. Let me go back to TokenWorks and start from the beginning. But yeah, I do wonder how, if they could do it again, would Good Vibes Club still launch there? Would Chimper still launch there? I can't even find. I mean, I go to their website. I can't even. I guess it's a problem. Like if I wanted to buy the tokens, how do I even do that right now? I've been there before too. That's what's kind of odd about it, is I can't. All I can find is the Punk one, and it doesn't make sense. If anyone has the link, if you could drop me the link to all the other tokens beyond just Punk Strategy. Is it archived now? Token Strategy, I guess that. Yeah, he's got it. So he's got it archived. Doesn't seem great. Like it's not even featured on the homepage anymore. Browse strategies. There we go. Finally found it. So let me share the tab so you can see what I'm looking at. This is Punk Strategy is at 7 million. Chimpster 2 million. Vibe Strategy 1.2 million. And then goes down from there. Yeah. I mean, I guess congrats to the player for playing the game and raking a bunch of fees. I'm not sure. Who am I to say? It's easy for me to Monday morning quarterback. I felt that fees are pretty extreme. I understand that the fees kind of make the flywheel go hum, but I don't know as if that was necessary on the FWA side. Just my opinion. I know some people have fun. I know some people are going to be buying the dip and going after it. But yeah, Eddie Crypto says, was the fastest I turned 0.1 into 0.03. So you weren't the only one. Like their return to player was bad, like was really bad. Like they were taking a ton of, like your odds, it was negative EV. So it's talking about hunting positive EV. FWA was negative EV. Like point of 0.1 spin, odds are it was going to turn into like a 0.03 win or loss. A lot of people realize that and were continuing to play it because they were earning FWA token, which they thought would be bullish, and they would more than make up for their losses when they got the token rewards, and that's seemingly not happening, or it's just not nearly as valuable as they thought because how they went about it. The fees crashed the token price, and then those that were earning FWA, it's just that FWA they earned is not nearly as much as they thought it would be, and it is going down by the minute. Yeah, Sierra's had a good post on this, and it's like, hey, people, this is the game we play. Like you win some, you lose some. I just think conceptually, I think FWA was a great idea. We would have Joey here next, BZ and Collector Crip and Fidgetal and all these, Dilly proved that there's great product market fit here. And if people are excited about gachas for physical collectibles, it would make sense. They're probably also going to be excited about gotchas for digital collectibles. It's just like, imagine, and hey, BZ takes a swap fee. If you pull you pull the claw machine and you don't like what you get, you can swap it out, and there's fees on that. But it's not 20% plus. Like, it's just like the fees to play the game and their odds are far better. Like, BZ actually most of the time is positive expected value, because there's grail items and even though like you may return $30 on a $50 pull, it's not nothing. And you also have the chance to return, thousands of dollars on a $50 pull. Well, yes, you could have a grail on FWA as well. There was far more losers than there was on BZ or any of the other digital collectibles. So to me, again, I'm not the dev. I'm not going to ship it. I truly do believe like someone could fork FWA and just have better return to player percentage, have better, make it more plus EV for the players, and do some buybacks with the token. It doesn't have to be buybacks, but for a brand new experiment to pull $2 million in fees and pocket it in your first month, and I'm guessing it's probably a pretty small team, like, get paid, but man, $2 million for a month of work, like, how about $1 million? And then you have $1 million back into the ecosystem, and now it's, hey, 50% of the fees are going back to support the ecosystem. It's just talk so much about alignment. It's not just NFTs, it's any of these DeFi protocols. There's a lot of, and I'm not saying it's a scam, I'm not saying he's a grifter. It does seem a little greedy. And I think it was EB7, Eric said this morning, I don't think it was fair to group it all NFTs in with it, but basically said that it's a perfect example of, he says FWA is a perfect example of why everything related to NFTs never works out. Every dev/founder related NFTs has shown that they are the greediest of all, whether it's taking all the fees, selling holders crap over and over, minting more collections, etc. It will never change. I would push back a little bit. Some are. I would just say it's not absolute. It's not every dev. It's not every founder. We had a great conversation with Simple Farmer yesterday. The majority of those fees are going back to the ecosystem. The fees are buying stocks, which then the brokers are able to receive those as loyalty rewards. Tell I'm really working on my wordsmithing here. I have really been enjoying Bahamas as of late, though. So I do think it can change. It's just going to take leaders, devs, to say, hey, I would rather make a little bit on a lot. I'd rather build something that can scale and is going to make the players happy. And it's going to be still relevant 12, 24, 36 months from now. And I'll make it may not make $2 million in my first month, but maybe it's only 500 grand my first month. But if you do that every month for a year, it's $6 million. Do it every month for 2 years, it's $12 million. Like, over the long run, I just think it's much more likely to build a sustainable ecosystem on lower fees. Like, I come from the franchising world, so fees and royalties, that's how I build a business. I've done it both as a franchisee and paid the fees, and it made sense because what I got in return for those fees, it was easily justifiable. And I've also been on the franchisor side where, we had 500 stores, but only one of them was a corporate store. The 100 million plus a year, and it was all generated off of the efforts of others. It was our franchise network, but they too, and some might disagree from time to time, but for the most part, they agreed that it was worth paying those fees because of what they're getting in return. I don't know if there's any franchise on the planet that charges 20% fees. Maybe there is, but it wouldn't be in retail. Like, it breaks the business. And in something like this, where it's online, it's software, it's low overhead, because it's such low overhead, you would think that they could charge even lower fees, but just, I don't know. It seems like greed does get in a way. So I will agree with Eric to some degree. I just don't think it's all. I do think and I also think that with this, your margins are my opportunity. I don't remember who originally said that, but that is often you see where if you have a business that's just printing crazy, 80, 90% margins or 99% margins in this case, because it's not even their product. Like FWA, they're not taking any risk. Like the risk is the players. They just build a platform and it's essentially 100% margin minus some labor and what it took to stand up. I know there's hosting and stuff, so not 100% is not fair, but I think we can say over 90%. But yeah, big opportunity. I think someone could just fork it. You don't have to get creative. Don't have to do anything. It was a Bezos quote. Okay, good to know. Your margin is my opportunity. Makes sense with Amazon, certainly. Would like to see some people operate in this space with a more long-term, perspective and drive more alignment with the users. That's it. That's going to be my reoccurring drum I'm going to continue to beat. Joey, go ahead and get in your thoughts on this. And I also, before we do market update, I wanted to mention the Bored Ape Yacht Club merch sale, the most recent Anchor Drop 2, and a few other items. But Joey, GM, what brought you up this morning?
GM, you were talking about like Vibester and all those other tokens, and I think that it was the idea of using those tokens as like your ecosystem token instead of launching your own token was a great idea, except what I don't like, to your point, the issue became like if I want to use my Vibester token, right, or sell it or whatever, to your point, the fees associated with it just doesn't, like, why would Good Vibes Clubs, like, let's just say hypothetically speaking, Good Vibes Club says, hey, listen, we're gonna use Vibester for all of our users to be able to buy like our new merch, right? So you pay for all the merch with Vibester, and then Good Vibes Club, in order to recoup the money, has to sell the Vibester, but they can't sell the Vibester without incurring like huge fees from selling the Vibester. And you also can't transfer the token. So like that was like, so I bought Vibester in 2 different wallets and I wanted to combine them into one wallet, but you can't. It has to be bought and sold. So you can't transfer it. So I don't even know if you could do anything with the token as a community, right? So like if Good Vibes Club was like, oh, we want you to buy merch with our token, I don't even know if you could do that because you can't transfer the token. It has to be bought and sold. So
it through their platform and pay the 10% fee.
Say that again?
It has to be bought and sold through their platform and the 10% fees forced.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So like, even if you wanted to activate the token as a community, right, because you decided to use it, how could you do that if the token is so restrictive? And I don't know if maybe like those conversations weren't had or what, I don't know. I wasn't there with any of these communities when they decided to do this, or the conversations they had with who, I can't remember the platform that launched it now, right? But just the simple fact that you're not allowed to so the reason why I'm assuming they made it so you can't transfer the token is because they want to get the fees.
Yes,
right.
Correct.
They want those 10% fees. But then that's restrictive on the project itself, because if the project itself wants to do something with the token, they can't, because it can only be bought and sold through the platform. So I think that was one major issue and roadblock with anybody who decided to use this token as part of their project. And the second one is the fees, because again, even if there was a way, right, for like, even if there was a way to do a transfer where Vibester set up a merch shop and you could just transfer the token to Good Vibes Club, they're going to lose 10% selling it into USDC to pay for all the merch that they paid for, right? I'm just using merch as an example. So I think that's why we haven't seen anybody do anything with the token, because it's so restrictive. And maybe this is something that can, and I don't know if I know that they made their contracts somewhat editable, because after because there were some changes made to the contracts, like after the fact. So
yeah, you can, Dort's educating us here. They can whitelist addresses to use the Vibester token for activations as a sync to allow for transfers, i.e. using it in pin drop game or something like that. For peer-to-peer transfers, it's disallowed. But it is possible to whitelist addresses to be able to use it and stuff like that. A merge drop.
So essentially, they can, like if Good Vibes Club says this is our payment ad. Yeah, but then you run into the same issue. Even if you whitelist an address, and we as Good Vibes holders, we can send our token to Good Vibes Club for said merch, but then Good Vibes Club wants to convert the token into USDC to pay for all the merch that they paid for in fiat to print, they lose 10% selling it.
Correct.
Unless there's a way for them to whitelist selling it too, so they don't lose the 10%.
Actually, I don't think so. They're actually giving they actually will give a 10% discount if you use Vibester to help offset the tax that you would pay. So appreciate the explanation, Dwayne and Dort. Appreciate you helping. I still net out, like, I think it's just too much. And DJJ, like, please don't take this wrong way. I am pure capitalist. Like, I am for-profit enterprises. I think these devs, these founders should make money. It's not about, I'm not promoting DeFi socialism or anything of that regard. I don't, it's definitely not, I'm definitely not saying we should have on-chain communism. I simply think it's okay to say something's too high. Like it's charge fees, but 20% is a lot. And it's just, when you take so much out of the ecosystem for something that's new, it's a startup. Like, I don't know startups. I don't know any traditional startups that are pulling $2 million out of their startup business in their first month or two. Like, that's crazy to think about. Like, to think you're going to start a business, you're gaining traction and you're having success. Like, oh, we're going to go and we made $1 million the first month. Better pull out the $1 million. Forget reinvesting in the business. Like, I don't know. It just seems backwards to me. To each their own. Again, you can do whatever you want. I've dabbled a little bit in the strategy tokens. I avoided FWA because I just looked at it and looked negative EV for me. And I'm also a gambler. Like, I'm okay for entertainment sometimes, knowing that it might be negative EV, but I'm having fun. It just wasn't fun enough to justify how negative EV it was. And it was all based on so many people are like, oh, it's okay to lose money because it's going to be made up for when we get the token. And I was like, are you though? Because Adam just hasn't really moved that way. He rewarded his NFT mentors and they get a percentage of fees, but that's all programmed in. When it comes to the fee model, he's shown to be like a pretty opportunistic capitalist. And again, that's fine. It's just there's no mode there. It's not like, I guess it is innovative because he incorporated NFTs, but the gacha mechanic is not new. It's not, there's no barrier of entry there, especially in today's world where, I don't know, like maybe it's harder to and they also had issues. Like, they had technical issues where there was some glitches, there was some bugs, and so that was my first, more so than the fees. Like, well, I'm going to let the bugs get sorted out. And that's also part of why I think on chain, when you're experimenting, when you're building something new, when it is an experiment and it might have some bugs, part of the benefit of being a beta tester is you're going to get outsized rewards because they're paying you to be a beta tester. Like, that's part of why loyalty rewards programs and quote unquote farming and why it can be so lucrative here is because there's real risk of in the space. Like, there's real protocol risk. There's real smart contract risk. Forgetting about the risk of the token could go down and not be worth it could be worth a fraction of what it is today during the quote unquote farming period. It is not, please don't take that the wrong way, DJ. I do think devs, founders, everyone should be able to make money here. Yes, people are here to make money. it's also as players in the game, you can choose where you want to attempt to make that money. And because there is real risk involved from all the smart contract, protocol, token price, like, you know, sometimes the reward should be outsized because the beta testers are the ones taking on all that risk. They're putting their capital at risk. They're putting their NFTs like, yeah, it seems that if you want something to sustain and compete long term, I don't know, might benefit someone if they truly. Now, hey, if you're looking at how quickly can I make $2 million, and I don't care if this thing goes to zero and and everyone moves on and no one's using it in 2 months. Salute, you know, well done. Like, each their own. You can do that. It's just like, as a participant, that's kind of stuff it's probably not as excited to participate in. And I'm going to call it how I see it. Like, as a commentator on the space, like, I don't know everything that how it should be done. And there's multiple ways. There's multiple ways to do things. I'm not saying like my way is right. And hey, I have not built an on-chain protocol that's generated me $2 million in fees in 30 days. So who am I to say? But as a user, it's kind of a turnoff. And I'll look for things that are more favorable to the participant, especially when it's something that's brand new, especially when it is an experiment, that there could be other risks that we didn't even mention today. Let's get Musty in here and then we'll go back to Joey. Musty, GM, thoughts on this?
Yo, I'm not rugging, right?
Nope, we got you. Loud and clear.
Cool. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just don't I'm all cool with people rugging. People rug for less. Like, it's all good if you want to like take money out of a thing or whatever. But when you're a public facing guy like Ryotnik or whatever his tag is, why would you what is even the fucking point? I get it. You made a shitload of money in a small amount of time, but I'll never understand why people will just I don't know if he killed his rep with this or whatever, but why do you just crush something like this and piss everybody off? I wasn't even a participant in FWA and I'm just like, dude, if you made this much money in this short amount of time, and it didn't really look like it was stopping, maybe some volume went down because of all the other shit going on, but bro, just let the fucking wheel keep doing its thing and just make even fucking more money. And then when you hit 4 million, then just take out 2 million and then put the other 2 back. I just don't understand why people do this type of shit. And then it makes people like me and other participants just be like, wow, once again in crypto, you can just literally believe in fucking nothing because everyone's just a greedy fuck.
Dude, well said. I wholeheartedly agree. That's it. It's it's going well. You found product market fit. You captured the lightning in a bottle that so many people attempt to capture here. You've got the attention. You've got the volume. Let it cook. Let it at least simmer for a little bit. I'm trying to struggle for an analogy. It's like shooting himself in the foot. It was an unforced error. Unless, like I said, unless the goal the whole time is how quickly can I extract $2 million, well done, congratulations. But I really think he had something here that, and hey, very well could recover. Maybe it's just a short-term blip. Maybe he comes out tomorrow and says, just kidding. I wanted to see who our real believers were. I'm actually going to take 80% of the token, do buybacks, and the thing runs to all-time highs. Very well could happen. He could be playing 4D chess. Why did you need to take it all now? I think where I net out to is because he went on Farouk's show and said, yeah, we're gonna use the fees to do buybacks, and then it's like, no, not yet. After the protocol matures a little bit, then we'll do that. It's like, what are we doing? Joey, go ahead, get back in here, and then we'll go to Drew.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not going to put blame on other people, but part of this is you got to do more research on who you're giving your money to and who you're trusting. I don't know him, so I'm not calling him out because I don't know him. I don't know his history. I don't know his past. I'm just saying, in general, in this space, we're very quick to just see number go up and just be like, take all my money because number's going up. And there's a lot of people in this space that have been successful and made money, but are not business people, and they don't have the vision of 12, 24, 36 months from now, right? There's a reason why when I made the decision to go work at Beezy, I did, because Andrea has a long track record of success in business. And her vision when we talked wasn't like, how quickly can we build this and make $1 million. It was, how can we change an industry? How can we 3 to 5 years from now get noticed by an eBay or a Fanatics, right? Or 10 years, however long it takes. And I just think that there's a lot of people in this space. It's the squirrel syndrome, right? It's like shiny object, whatever. Like, you support people that, and I'm going to front run our announcement because I don't know if I'll be on the show in 9 minutes. We're launching another points vault on Friday. I'll share that if I'm still in front of my phone, I'll share the tweet. We're launching another points vault on Friday, and it's our largest point vault ever with the amount of money that's going to be available. Not amount of money, but amount of rewards, right? Whether it's graded cards, like we just keep finding a way to give back to the community. And I'll be honest, I barely make anything. I don't even make enough to be like considered fucking poverty in America from BZ. Why? Because we're building for the long term. We're reinvesting everything in what we do. And I'm not making this PvP, but get behind people that actually have long-term vision versus, to your point, like want to make a quick buck and then run away.
And again, stressing that there's multiple ways to do it. You can charge whatever you want. It's a free society. It's just, people are commenting, some are charging like 20% shipping. Diego says at the end of the day, it's all about making money. Let them take their cut. We're all here to gamble and try to catch the golden ticket. Sure. But again, why not both? Like, they can take their money just a little less and do what they said they're going to do and do buybacks or whatever mechanics you want to do with the token. Meta says, I wouldn't mind initial fees for launch to capture treasury funds to run the business, but taper fees to sustain. Sure. Diego says, sure, you could take $250K monthly, but how about waiting 8 months for the full 2 million? Yeah, why not? Like, even half of that and put half of fees back into the ecosystem, into the business, seems to make a little more sense. Drew, thoughts on this? GM, appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, GM. Yeah, I mean, interest. Like, I just want to say like 3 things, and I'm not defending the guy, but like, why would he do any of this? I mean, if any of us had a chance to make 2 million, and let's say give or take 2 months, maybe some months before that, building that, testing that, whatever. Like the psychology of the human mind to have any sort of motivation to keep it going when you have that sitting there, no one's going to do that.
I mean, I wouldn't say no one. Look, I mean, most businesses do this. I mean, how many?
But it's not a business though. He's a single developer. Like that's the thing that's lost in Web3 is like a lot of these people are just extremely skilled developers. Where they're I think Joe was saying they're not business people. They're not businesses. Like, I think this is where in Web3 it drives me insane that you could slap quote unquote experiment in front of everything and then run away with every single excuse to where it just allows you to do whatever you want. And then what Musty was saying is like the dude's rep is killed. It's not, because next week if he releases something else that's a new experiment and it's making people money, they're gonna go in and invest in it. Like, this is the short term, like upside down, super fucked world of Web3 where it's just going to continue to happen and happen and happen.
I mean, you're not wrong, because
He's
you're
not
right.
wrong.
If you did, like, even though I say that as a Web3 participant who's here for like the fun and to make money, yeah, if he went dark for 2 weeks, came out and said, yeah, here's this pre-sale, send me like half an ETH and I'll make, yeah, I'm sending that fucking money. Just because he's proven he knows how to make money.
Yeah, he like emotions and everything aside, he has released 2 of probably the most innovative on-chain mechanics, one being the strategy model, and then like this NFT gacha that I think I've seen since like the NFT hype in 2022, personally. And it's fantastic, right? And, money and emotions and all that aside, I mean, it's awesome. And I'm sure there's going to be a third, and everyone who is complaining because they assume that there's be buybacks or an airdrop, they're all going to participate. Probably myself included, just being transparent. Like, absolutely. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, how many times have we seen people that we've talked about that we know, are grifters or scammers or whatever, and they come up with something else, and I mean, and people send them money. This space is all about this space, and it's not a bad thing, but this space is all about what have you done for me lately, right? So again, if to Drew's point, if he disappears for a month or 2 weeks, then comes back and is like, look at this cool shit I built, people are gonna and they see the number going up, they're gonna give him money. They're gonna do it. It happens all the time.
It's the thought process now. Like when Vlad, the CEO of Robinhood, when his X account got hacked, right? That token ran, and people made so much fucking money, off of that token. For now, the mindset is like, hey, I know this X account is hacked. I need to get in and get out before the devs actually rug it. Like what an insane thing in this space to even say or think about or participate in.
Yeah, and I agree. Not everything does need to be a big company. Not everyone has to hire employees. Not everything has to be a multi-billion-dollar business. But I think if we want things to sustain a little bit and be longer lasting, like this, there's a reason that businesses build like this. There's a reason businesses reinvest and don't pull out every dollar while they're just getting started, because then it's like the end is near. And I'm quoting here. These aren't my opinions, but Pons raises the question: do we blame Adam or the people who keep falling for it? The other people would say, am I falling for it if I know what I'm getting into? I'm playing the game. I want to win. Diego's like, I'm a romantic, come to the mercenary side. Yeah, he's a mercenary dev, and it's okay. But it's followed up by Maida says, this is why we wonder why TradFi is grabbing so much more market share right now and why they're having positive price action. As this is why, like oftentimes the projects, the devs who get the most attention, the most support are these mercenaries who it's kind of a similar playbook. What Pons was requoting is this longer post from John here. John says, you'll be Adam launch TokenWorks to serial launch projects. The first 10 fail, move to archive. The first success is Punster. Realize you can make more money on fees. Let 50 projects launch a token through token strategy, community own, earn hundreds of ETH. Launch funding works for building, but you already have enough money. Don't do anything with the NFT. Launch season 2, more money. Launch 10,000 tokens for Adam again. But nobody has influence to drop a meme coin in this market. Abandon the project. Say it was community owned from the start. Be busy tweeting about your shroom trip and other unhinged stuff. Time for some more money. Need a new idea. What about gachas? How about make money there? How can we make money there? Oh, great idea. Put NFTs in them, but charge 15% fees. TokenWorks needs more money to build. Great success. Everyone is tweeting and pulling negative 50% EV. Just 15 days of emission, guys. Keep pulling and swapping. More fees from Adam. Adam makes 2,000 ETH. Adam goes on show telling people to be buybacks with the fees, but oh no, we misinterpreted him. Not with the 2,000 ETH, of course. That's needed for TokenWorks. It needs money to launch Project 8. More info soon. Be Adam. Yeah, it's not just the two. He's launched 15 projects recently, just on TokenWorks. And again, take shots on goal. Keep taking shots. If you at some point you would think you would like something to stick and be a going concern, and I think it's much more likely to do that. I'm not saying don't charge fees, but again, to steal the quote,
can't blame him. I don't blame him for what he's doing, right? Like he's spending his time, effort, and time equals money, right? To build these platforms, and then people are using them and they're making money, but then you can't complain if he does. Like again,
not complaining, making suggestions. If someone wants to sustain,
you have to vote with your money, and if you keep doing it over and over with the same person, again, it's the same with like grifters and scammers. Like if you keep giving them your money, you keep sending them money to their wallet, whose fault is that? Is it theirs or yours? It's yours. By the way, I don't have a problem with somebody making money. I'm a strong believer in capitalism. I just think there's at some point you have to you can't just be a serial entrepreneur forever, right? Like if you find,
you can in this space. I mean, I think Adam's kind of proven that you can as long as some people make money, you can just keep doing new stuff. Just ship something new, abandon the old project, ship something new, abandon the old project, ship something new, abandon the old project. And as long as you're making some people money, you can keep going back to the well. Again, to each their own. I'm not hating the player. I just think the game, people are, for those that are like, oh, there's extremely low probability of long-term success here. Maybe this is part of the reason why. From protocol founders to NFT founders, a lot of, and I'm not saying it's extractive, businesses, individuals, devs, everyone should make money for their time. It's just relative to the real world, the numbers are crazy. It's silly. And if it was a little more close to what you might experience in the real business world, I do think some of these would have a much better chance of lasting longer, of actually making it outside of our crypto native bubble. It wouldn't just be, a flash in the pan that is the new hot thing for 30 days. And then 90 days, it's gone. Everyone forgot about it and moved on. I don't know. Again,
but isn't that like the perfect attention economy though?
What do you mean?
Isn't that like sitting exactly in the attention economy? Like, I'm going to build something for 30 days. It's going to be fantastic. Some people are going to make money. Some people are going to lose money if they choose to participate. And then on to the next. I mean, it's the TikTok brain like overtake. Like, there's no way that you're going to continue to capture attention with one platform that does the same thing for longer than 12 months without continuing to improve it, add it.
But then you have to continue to experiment. I mean, it's the same conversation.
But it's an experiment though. An experiment is a short themed like plan. There's no long term.
Why does it have to be? But if it works, why does it have to be short? If it works, why can't you continue?
Because they made the money. Like why? If you made your money, if you made your bag, why continue to deal with people's feedback? Why continue to improve stuff? Like why? Like that's the issue with this space, because let's say if anyone did go read the white papers, which I'm sure they didn't, if Adam were to say, hey, I'm going to put a 30% developer fee in there, which means I'm going to pay myself 30%, every single person on Twitter would not participate and would call him a greedy bastard. Yet I think he should. Like, he's a developer. He's putting time and money and effort. This was his idea. Again, I'm not defending the guy. I'm just saying, like, this is as a general statement. But like this is the difference of dealing with hardworking people, consumerism on a day-to-day, versus with dealing with VCs or business people who are used to this.
You're not wrong. I still think the guy's clearly a talented dev. He comes up with good ideas. He ships good stuff. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is the most optimal way to play it, is just it's in and out, it's guerrilla warfare. And it's not just like he's getting out of a collection first or a meme coin first. It's like he's building stuff with 30-day lifespan. Okay. I don't know. Like, if it was that innovative, if it was that good of an idea, like I think it had more legs. I think Punkster had more legs. I maybe it was the fees, maybe not. I think FWA had more legs.
Punkster and everything still works. Ape strategy still works. All that still works.
Yeah, but the price action has been down only for a while, so it works.
Yeah, but it's all based on the NFT. Like, he doesn't need to make any improvements. There's no updates because it's all based on an external factor that he doesn't have to participate or control.
Right. What my question is though is maybe it works better if it's not as expensive from a fee-based standpoint. Maybe FWA, maybe he doesn't have to build 15 more projects over the next few years, because he could have simply collected $100,000 a month off FWA for perpetuity. Like that's my point, is like you land something. It's okay to experiment, keep throwing spaghetti at the wall, keep taking shots on goal. But when you score, when you find product market fit, it's really hard. When you find product market fit, you've got the momentum, you've got the volume, like double, triple down on that thing. And this seemed to just kill momentum. Whereas, if it's communicated a little differently, if maybe there's, you take a big chunk of that and put it back into the ecosystem. People are excited. Today the token's up and the flywheel keeps moving. Like you have momentum and he doesn't have to ship another thing. He can just make 100 grand a month for the rest of his life instead of 2 million one time. And I got to build another project in a few months because that one didn't work. Like it's okay to keep experimenting, but sometimes when you nail an experiment, I would think you'd want it to last when you really have something like. And so back to my point is, I think the door's open. I think someone else could ship an NFT gacha that's not as expensive, that is a better RTP for the players. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that one also speed runs to 0 and it doesn't last, and they would have been better off to rake 2 million in fees in their first month. I think otherwise. I think that the concept works. Look at BZ. Look at all those competitors. Like if it's stuck so well in the physical collectible world, I think it could work here. And part of it, you know, maybe it doesn't apply exactly to the same dev that keeps shipping different stuff, but you know, Frosty's brings up like the euthanasia roller coaster. You know, the loop keeps getting smaller and smaller every time you do something. And while people have made money on these experiments, they're going to keep coming back. This seems like possibly, I don't know, I've not, you'd have to look at the data. This seems like this might be the first one that actually less people actually made money. And a lot of people took some pretty big L's, seemingly based on the sentiment I'm seeing on the timeline. A lot of people were playing this flywheel because they've made money on these experiments in the past, expecting the dev to deliver what he said, that a lot of these fees are going to go back into supporting the ecosystem and the token. And then when that didn't happen, now a lot of these people, I'll quote Cyrus, who he's not complaining. He brushes it off. You win some, you lose some. But those people are probably less likely to participate in the next one if they took a bath on this one. If they make money on every time, sure, they're going to keep going. But to the point of like the euthanasia roller coaster, it keeps getting smaller. The chart keeps getting smaller each time you go. And with that, more people lose money, less people make money. At some point, you run out of like, what if there's enough people burnt that the next project, the next experiment after that, they gain 0 traction? Maybe not. Maybe he can ship a new idea, a new concept every other month that makes $2 million. And hey, I'm very much in the wrong here, in my opinion. I just, knowing how hard it is to find product market fit and distribution and the attention and the momentum in this space, like when you get it, I think you want to cherish that. You want to cultivate that a little bit. You want to actually, what can I do to keep this thing going? Doesn't mean you got to build a massive business and hire a bunch of people, but I don't know. It just seems like, and I don't even think it's like a moral, ethical conversation. Like you can do whatever you want to do. I just, if the goal is to build something that sustains and not have to keep shipping new projects or new experiments every other month, maybe consider doing it with more fair and equitable fees, and or doing something with the token, especially when you say you're going to do something with the token. I think that's where I think a lot of the frustration comes, is people were farming this thing thinking he was going to do one thing and then he does something different. That erodes a little bit of trust, at least with some. Jonah, GM, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm more of a realist than on this. I mean, he did. If you don't have an ethical quandary, he did the right move. Like business wise, he made the right play. If you don't have an emotion attached to it, a good idea does not mean it's a good business, right? Like you can have a really good idea, and then you do, the forward-looking, spec on that good idea, and you realize it's a really good idea for about a month, but it's not a good idea for 12 months, or it's not a good idea for 3 years. And the other thing is, when you start a business, the first thing you have to look at when you're building a product, you go, is this a feature or a platform? And the reality is, whether it's BZ here on this stage or it's Collector Crypt, this NFT Gacha thing is just a feature. It's not a product, right? Like Collector Crypt kind of realized this, right? Like now they're doing white glove services around their inventory system. Like that becomes a platform. I'm sure BZ is doing, something similar, right? But yeah, if you don't have any emotion behind this, he made the right move financially.
Maybe, probably, because we don't know the future, right? Like I posed the question: if you could make $2 million in a month or 20 million in 12 months, which would you take? I know that 2 times 12 is 24, so it's a little less.
But one's a certainty and one is a projection, right? Like, we don't. You can make 2 million, but you don't know if you actually can make 20 million, and if either one, he's greedy, or two, he has a company that needs funds, you're going to take the 2 million because you can't, also, all right, here's like another thing you factor in. How old is the guy? Does anyone know? Does he look like he's in his 30s or 40s?
Probably 30s.
Okay, all right. Like the older you get, the less likely you are to wait for a bigger payday, right? Like whether you have kids or you have a wife or you're just an old fuck. Like the reality is you don't dream in 100 millions. You dream in 5 million, like that's just the reality of the world. But also the product itself is inherently flawed. And I'm stepping into the snake pit here, but a gacha itself is only half the product. The other half is the inventory itself and the demand for it. There's only so many NFTs that people want to win in a gacha, unless you're building like a junk bonds business, which you can't really build around this asset class.
So yes, I do agree that the gacha is only part of the product. You still need product, but I would push back or challenge a little bit. I think we're just seeing the beginning of gachas. I shared this yesterday. I got my Board Ape Yacht Club shorts from the one of the recent merch drops, and in it there was a scratch off. It says Lucky Ape, scratch for store credit, shop the store, Board Ape Yacht Club, went up to $500. And you can see I scratched it off. Don't.
Well, I'm not saying gacha is the problem. I'm saying the inventory is.
Because it's NFTs. That you're saying most aren't desirable.
It's the same. He's not wrong. It's the same thing we face at all the like BZ collector crypto, right? Like if you don't have the newest, hottest, open One Piece chase cards and TC and if it's football season, but you only have basketball and right. So to his point, like the mechanic itself of our claw machine is great, but we have to keep the inventory constantly fresh and exciting in order for people to play it. So to his point, the NFT gacha mechanic is like whatever he built is super cool. But if all of a sudden nobody cares about the NFTs that are in the gacha, nobody's gonna collect them.
Sure, I agree, right? but people do care about the NFTs in there. Like, and maybe not all of them, but people definitely care about those NFTs. And it's I don't think there was an issue with the product. I think it actually worked, and I think the product proved that there's product market fit for this. I think what we're talking about this morning is that momentum has been stalled because of the fee structure and the tokenomics. Steve, can't wait to see your take on this. Very curious. Have you been playing it? Did you play FWA at all? Gian.
Oh yeah, I've lost probably. I mean, I've been up, I've been down. I'm probably net down on it because, guys, it's a claw machine. I've never gone to like, an amusement park and hit a claw machine and been like, what I'm going to do, make money. And I know the flywheel with the token is actually very creative and interesting. And I'm very curious to see what happens when it goes live in various places and sort of like is there for trading. I'm not like advocating anybody go back on sort of promises or whatever. I missed the space where maybe he promised what he was going to do with the money and whatever. I will say this though, like there's a couple things I just think is worth saying. Number one, I think like I know it's not intentional because people are saying it's the same as and making these analogies, but we really should stop comparing somebody who's done some of the more fun experimentation in the past few years to saying like, well, it's the same, we send money to grifters and these people. And I know people aren't trying to like necessarily conflate those, but it feels like it's being conflated as we kind of go down this rabbit hole of like, sort of churning about like how upset people are about the fee structure he's doing. And I get it. Like, I'm not saying people can feel how they want to feel, but like conflating somebody who is publicly experimenting, talking about what they're doing, building that in public, like giving people the chance to use the product, which I very much know when I put my point, one whatever into that machine, I'm probably getting 0.05 back and swapping a friendship bracelet. But hey, maybe I'll get a punk, right? And I'll swap that or I'll keep it or whatever. So I think like number one, like we know what we're getting into there. And the token mechanic is kind of cool the way that they're doing it, the staking mechanics, etc. I understand why people are upset by how it's being approached. And like, I'm not discounting that. But like, we shouldn't be conflating this with like, somebody who says I'm doing a token pre-sale and then rugs a token. So that's number one.
Wholeheartedly agree. We use grifter, scammer, extractor way too liberally. Yeah, way too much. They're not all the same.
Like, so that was thing number one. Thing number two that I would throw out there is I think we need to be careful with like, hey, this is product market fit. It should stick. You should build on it. Yes, totally. Like I would love to see that. I think we also need to remember the other side of the coin. And this is something I think you mentioned Pons at one point, and Pons makes his point all the time. The people who stick around and build the longest oftentimes are the ones that end up getting like you'll hear people say things like, why people are calling me a grifter and a rugger and a scammer? Because I'm still here about like people who do projects, because the ones who leave, people eventually forget about, and that's the end of it. And so like, yes, there is a world where it's like, this could have been something maybe to be built on top of. I think Drew made an excellent point that punk strategy and sort of like ape strategy, those all work exactly as intended still. It's just, the market is the market right now. And I think that it's important to like, again, sort of delineate or kind of pull apart to say like, it's cool to say like, build long-term, stick here forever, do your thing, you can make all this money over time. But Jonah's exactly right about the projections. It's like, maybe he'd make, 24 million over 2 years, or maybe it would slow his part of market fit. People would say, where's the innovation? What are you doing with the token? Where's your buybacks? Where's this? Where's that? And he would just be called even worse names over time with things. So it's like, I agree with everything everyone's saying as far as I would like to see this. I would like to see it built out. I think it's cool. It's fun. It's addicting. It's fun to like spin the wheel and, potentially, value your winnings. It's a lottery mechanic. But I think like the two things I would say is like, and this isn't in defense, by the way, like when you promise something, you should deliver on it, all of that. But like, I just wouldn't use words like scammer and grifter and make the analogy of like, it's kind of like we do this in this space, because I think outside of and I didn't hear the specific reference of saying like, I'm going to do this and then not doing it. I don't think there's been anything like we know, like I know when I put my money into that machine, what I'm expecting. Maybe I'm like put into the universe, I'm going to win a punk, and then I end up with a friendship bracelet and I swap it. Like that's life. And I think, so I don't want to put that category. And then I think we just got to realize like sometimes people who stick around, I mean, ask Gargo what it was like to be CEO of Bored Ape Yacht Club over the years, trying to like do things and throw a party and spend the money and innovate, or Luca with Pudgy Penguins and launching Pengu and doing all sorts of things that gave all this money back to the community, but then the token's down, and then how are people feeling about it? And like, I'm not speaking for them. I haven't heard them say those specific things, but I can only imagine being in the shoes of like a builder who works really, really hard. And then you end up having holders and other people who are saying, where's my money? What does it do for the holders? What is this happening? Like, Doodles, when they were trying to build a brand with Julian and all them there, it was like, what does it do for the holders? What does it do for the holders? It's like, we're trying to build a long-term business, but like, we're getting kind of killed for that. So I just think, it's a long-winded way of saying like, there is like, certainly like, I would love for this to be around and have a nice flywheel to it and all those things. I also understand the man in the arena thing here, where it's like, is this really a long-term product? Is it something you build on top of? And, do we all know at some point, like people take accountability for where they put their money. And at least for me, like what I put my money into, I'm very cognizant that if I buy a piece of art, I'm buying that art. It may go up, it may go down. I'm buying it to buy the art. If I participate in a claw machine, whether it's on BZ or Collector Crypt or, or FWA, I know what I'm getting into, which is I'm probably going to go negative EV, but I've got a chance here. And if I buy a token, I know that it may go up, and I know that it may go down, and that's part of the game. So I don't know. I just would say like, I don't think anybody's opinion is necessarily invalid here. I would just be careful about like some of the conclusions we sometimes jump to and some of the comparisons we make, maybe without even realizing it, with the fact that this guy has built innovative stuff over the past couple of years, and it's fun. And if we want to encourage on-chain experimentation, we should encourage it.
I wholeheartedly agree. English NFT agrees with you. He says, think we should all be thankful that someone is coming up with on-chain projects, experiments to speculate on and have fun with. And Steve, you nailed it. Like, that's how people should be playing the game. You know the game you're playing. You know that you're most likely going to lose money. You're going to put in 0.1. You're probably going to get 0.03 if you're lucky. There's a small chance you end up hitting big and you win a punk. But it's just like People play the lottery knowing that they're going to lose 99% of the time. Like it's gambling. It's inherently gambling. That said, I don't think everyone was playing the game expecting to lose money because of some things that were said, because of the tokenomics, because of, again, things that were said on that those fees would be reinvested back in the ecosystem, because we do see that here often. You know, and I'm not saying that Hyperliquid and Pump Fun are the only ones that have done, you know, a buyback or that. There just happen to be two of the more successful protocols. And I don't know, maybe part of the reason that they've remained relevant and high performing for so long is because they're reinvesting in the ecosystem, because it is a flywheel. Maybe that's why they weren't just a 30-day flash in the pan and then they, you know, are no longer relevant. I'm not saying that's why they're successful either, but I do think there's something there. I also, like, Ira said something in the chat. I think talking to me says I talk more from a Web 2 mentality, when in Web 3, most people jump from one trend to another. Ethics here is to be early and don't get attached. That's why a lot of people left, as I said. I agree with Ira. I just think it can be both. I think it can be an and. I think if we take some things that have worked still work in Web 2 and apply them here, I think we could actually build some more sustainable businesses, some more sustainable protocols, some experiments that actually last. And I don't know, maybe actually have a chance of bringing in more people. And I'm not put BZ on a pedestal because Joey's here on stage, but those gacha, they seem to be working. They seem to have escaped our crypto corner. They seem to actually be infiltrating real world collectors. I'm seeing them in malls, like not collector shows, but actually like they're out in the wild. And I think we're going to see more of those. And part of it is because it's transparent. Are they making fees? Yes. Are they making money? Yes. But they're not scalping 20, 30%. And again, to each their own. There's multiple ways to do it. I just think that I agree with what everyone's saying, that it's experimenting, but yeah, you can experiment, and also sometimes you nail an experiment, it can last a little longer. It is a fine line, and I don't have all the answers. I just, based on sentiment, it seems like this was maybe not even on the higher side, but it comes down to, even though it's a trustless space, if you are going to be a serial experimenter, that's fine. But doing what you said you're going to do is pretty important. I think that's where a lot of this is hanged on. The clips are out there. He said it on a recorded show on Farouk that he said, yeah, he's going to use a lot of these fees to go back into the ecosystem to support the token. And the first time he had a chance to do this, said, no, it's not going to be now. We're going to do that in the future. I feel for those who maybe they shouldn't have been playing the game. To Ponce's point, like, who's to blame here? The ones who were playing this gacha game, losing money, expecting to be made whole and then some on the come because of, a token. Those are probably the people to blame. So it's like, if you're down on FWA and you expected to make money on a gacha mechanic that is very high fees, probably on you. Back to don't hate the player, hate the game, or don't play the game if you're going to hate on it. I'm not, it does not hurt my bags though. I don't have any bag of FWA. I'm reading the timeline, and I really do. I'm extremely bullish on gachas. And I think that, yes, it is gambling, but I think on-chain makes gachas better. And I'm not saying it's also not going to be the end of gachas. I still, what started my conversation this morning is I think there's an opportunity there for someone to build a competitor now that's not taking as many fees, that has better tokenomics. And I think it could stick. I think it could be something we're still talking about a year from now. Maybe not. Maybe the play is to get in and get out, but I think there's something here. Drew, thoughts?
Yeah, I think like two things on this, and echo exactly every single thing that Steve said. Like, again, Adam's like a one-man band man. He's doing this all under TokenWorks, which he, dubs a playground. Now, again, I do think that he's gaslighting the misinterpretation of the tokens, and I don't agree with that. However, the whole purpose of like an experimentation is to experiment. Like, if he were to move forward with the platform FWA as it is, he honestly has to rework the whole platform. Like, there are people manipulating the top spot for 1%, ETH backing. There's a lot of bugs. Like, there are other issues with it. Like, he has to rework the entire thing. And if you're a developer, like, developers are a very special breed. developers work on what they find fun. Like, I'm sure that the moment that the money goes down, I mean, I've seen like some of the smartest developers I've ever met in Web 2, where everyone's making money, and the moment that they stop making money, it goes down. Like, the whole psychology and mindset switches, because now they're like, oh my gosh, like, this isn't going to get us back to where they are if they're money motivated, or like, it's just not fun anymore. It's fun to build. It's not fun to fix bugs. Like, it's not. And you know, again, like, an experimentation is meant to create a framework to build upon or improve. And you need a team in order to do that. So I agree with you 100%, which is what you tweeted in your initial point, is someone here can fork this with a team, with an actual business model, change a few things, and I think it would be hyper successful.
Yep. And when I like, yeah, could that be another one-man band? Could it be another single dev? Yeah, sure, it could be. Or what if it is an established brand? What if it is a Yuga, a Pudgy, a Doodles, fill in the blank? There's so many of these crypto native brands, these PFP brands are still relevant. They still have massive community support. They're all, many of them, most all are looking for ways to generate more revenue, both on-chain and off-chain. And just as I was applauding Simple Farmer yesterday for being that on-chain experimenter, I don't want to take away from what Adam has been doing here and experimenting on-chain. I appreciate the serial experimenter. I appreciate it. I truly do. More of that. We need more of that. That said, when someone finds something that works, has product market fit, others could replicate, others could duplicate the thing. And I would love to see more of the NFT PFP native brands do some of this on-chain experimentation. Back to what I was saying about the whole scratch off thing. Like, I sent this in a tweet yesterday, so it's not like it's out there, but like, this is cool. I think it's good retail to bring me back as a customer. Like, it's, again, something that worked in Web 2, deployed in Web 3, but how you can make it better in Web 3 is put it at the point of sale. Add a little gotcha mechanics. When I go to check out, I can spend, I don't know, $10 or $20 to pull a gotcha, on-chain gotcha, and maybe I only get $5. I spend $20, I only get $5 off. Maybe I get free shipping. So I spend $20 and I get the equivalent of $10 off. Or maybe I get $500 off. Maybe I get a grail there's only 2 available. Maybe I get a grail that's not even for sale. It's something that was at one of the Ape Fest, and it's a real collectible grail. Like, that sort of stuff. Is that gonna make Yuga millions of dollars? Probably not. But it's something like, hey, the space, we here collectively say, hey, we're into this stuff. We'll pay. I'm not opposed to paying. Like, while I appreciate the free card and the $5 off, I would probably spend that gotcha 100% of the time. If it was palatable, if it's 10 to $20 and I know I'm going to get something in return, I'll pull it. Like, we're already paying $10 in shipping, and like, you're already paying shipping and tax. You're probably paying $15 on a $60 order. Let me pay an extra $15, and maybe I don't pay any of that. And with the chance of getting something bigger, maybe this is a bad example to talk just about, merch sales. But the bigger point is, yeah, Drew, someone could experiment, and it doesn't have to be an indie dev. It doesn't have to be the core business either. It could be a division. It could be a channel. Maybe I'm also just too bullish on gotchas in general, but because BEpic's right, they are inherent in gambling, and most of the time you're going to play. But yeah, do it for the dopamine. Do it for fun. It's one thing if you're gambling thousands of dollars for $5, $10, $50, like, have some fun with it. I think there's clear product market fit here. I think we're just seeing the beginning. I think we're in the top of the first inning when it comes to gotcha machines. If you haven't been on the show recently, I said, like, I think you're going to go to a sporting event soon, and you're going to see a will call, and you're going to have the option, like, yeah, you could buy a $10 nosebleed seat, or for $20, you could enter our ticket gotcha. And worst case scenario, you're going to get a $10 nosebleed seat that you paid $20 for instead of 10, but you've got a 2% chance of winning 50-yard line tickets or home plate seats, like the best seats in the house. Maybe you get to throw out the first pitch. Like, there's so much that can be done, like fun entertainment on top of entertainment. And as someone who is very long in real life experiences, experiential retail, I think gotchas are one of the mechanics that work very well in real life, work very good with physical items, but yet bringing them on chain makes it a far superior product. It just is. You can't convince me otherwise that the vending machine I saw at Sawgrass Mills Mall that has zero transparency in terms of odds or what inventory's in there is better than the Beezy claw machine, which I know exactly what's in the machine. I know what the odds are. I know what the expected value is. Like, it's just better. And I think Gacha, it may be silly because it's a gambling mechanic, but we're in a gambling society. Like, this isn't just me saying this. It's not just our crypto native degens. It's a lot of the, especially a younger generation, like from prediction markets to sports betting to fantasy to everything in between. Like, there's a huge demand for fun gambling stuff. And I just think it could be an add-on to a lot of existing stuff. And that's part of why I think again, I'm not mad at Adam. Like, I don't really care. It's not that deep for me. But what I am excited about is this space. And I think there's really something here. So there's maybe a little bit of disappointment that they crushed the momentum so early. Could very well recover. It has massive success, and it remains, we're still talking about FWA a year from now. And then I eat my words. But yeah, there is all in on Gacha. And I don't know if the machines are collecting dust. I saw some people using at least one of the Gacha machines at the mall. And maybe not though. Maybe they are as popular. I just think if they weren't working, they're not going to keep building them because they're expensive. Like, those vending machines are not. They're cost a heck of a lot more than spinning up what it probably costs to start FWA or even the BC Tech for that matter. Like, those physical vending machines, like they're expensive. I'm going to guess 10 grandish, and there's more than just a few of them out there. Like, they're popping up everywhere. I don't think we'd see them popping up everywhere if they weren't being used and they weren't profitable. Ira, I invoked your name a few times. We'll get Ira in here, and then we'll welcome Colum. I think first time caller to the stage. Ira, appreciate the comments in the chat. You want to expand on those thoughts?
Yeah, first, I'm really surprised that you're such an idealist, and in a good way. We need people like that. And I think you're talking about these gambling sites, like, and they need to behave like porn sites, to be honest, because people go in there, like everyone like to gamble, right? Every person, and we go in there to get some relief, to get some quick dopamine and stuff. And I think the difference between how like porn sites working and Gacha and all this is that porn sites know their core audience, right? They giving users to upload their content, they giving people what to do, they collaborating with the projects who are interested in advertising exactly on their platform. And that's how, focusing on core audience, they become successful, because they know people they are working for. And the platforms you mentioned as a successful, Busy, for example, they know their audience as well. This is collectors, TCG collectors, right? And that's how they're successful. So I think they kind of, similar in this way and need to learn.
Didn't expect to get to the porn analogy compared to gachas, but you might be onto something here in terms of knowing your demographic. And I'm trying to think how I land this, but all that said, I think part of knowing that demographic is, while they're willing to gamble, I think, and maybe I'm way off, but I think maybe they're not on average more profitable gamblers than the quote unquote normie gamblers, but I think they're at least aware of it. I think because of like the token mechanics, the loyalty rewards programs, I think more of the active participants here are actually aware of, are they making money? Are they losing money? Is this plus EV or not? Whereas I think a lot of people who just are casual gamblers on sports betting or prediction markets or whatever, I think it maybe is purely entertainment. Whereas here, sure, does some do it for entertainment and dopamine? Yes, absolutely. I think there's maybe relative, I think a larger percentage that play the game not just for entertainment, but play it to make money. Like they're doing some calculations in their head that I'm doing this for a return, not just for entertainment. And whether we like it or not, the tokens, the reward programs, have muddled that a little bit to where what people say, how things are being, announced, how things are being rolled out. I think it matters because people will, because we've seen it in the past, because we've seen things be extremely profitable and on the front end you were losing money. People they're much more susceptible to that here. Whereas, yeah, maybe someone goes and does in real life gacha machine, they spend $50 on it, knowing that they're probably going to lose money. I don't see them at that. They're not at the mall spending $5,000 on the gacha machine because, although I'm losing money today, I'm going to get this reward on the back end that's going to be worth 10 grand, and it's a no brainer. Again, we can't blame Adam for that. We probably blame the users and the hyper speculators that are the ones playing the game with those expectations. What I think we could challenge is who set that expectation, and here I do think it was the dev. At least the clip I saw. Maybe I'm taking it out of context, but the clip I saw was very clearly said that it was going to use the fees to support the ecosystem and buy back tokens, etc. And that apparently still going to happen, just not yet. Callum, GM, welcome to the stage. Thoughts on this conversation this morning?
GM, yeah, thanks for having me, Chris. I got into FWA actually around 300K market cap, so really early. I saw the first iteration where it was it had to be reset, so I knew it was coming. And Adam's had a lot of projects, as you said. They've all been, as he refers to, as experiments. But I think where the disappointment for me personally came here is that it seemed really promising to build something long term. Like, people love Gacha. I think Gacha is going to be around for a long time. And actually, when I first saw this, I was like, if I see Steve on this stage, and I know Adam Hollander really well. And I was like, if OpenSea had done this for their token initiative, then this could have worked really well, because OpenSea is the home of NFT trading. And I think that's what FWA was obviously built around. And I actually got really excited every time I spam an NFT on FWA, even though I tended to take the ETH to degen and spin more, or the FWA, depending on the price. But I think this is now, with how Adam seems to be moving forwards, has just opened up opportunity. And I know a couple of projects that are already talking about how they can build something off of this. It'd be interesting to hear. I missed the start of the spaces, so I don't know if Steve's talked on it, but whether OpenSea could capitalize on this. But I actually managed to launch a flywheel token for FWA just after launch, because it's quite ironic. I kept rolling the 10,000 token NFTs, and I was like, has nobody, someone must have created a flywheel within the TokenWorks ecosystem from 10,000 tokens to play, pull as a team and play the protocol, and nobody had. So I ended up launching this token, and the idea was you would, the 1% creator fee would then fuel depositing into the protocol, and then the FWA earned would be sold, and that revenue would be used to burn the token that I launched. And it took off tremendously to start with, but it became very, very clear that there was, I tried to reach out to Adam to maybe get some support, and I know he's obviously going to be protective of the brand, but there was just nothing. There was no. It was the top trending token on 10,000 tokens. It was actually working in terms of a flywheel, but it soon just kind of fizzled out. And then to see the news yesterday, it was just kind of I guess the nail in the coffin, and kind of reiterated why it might not succeed as people had hoped initially, but maybe it will be forced into another pivot and some more focus on actually driving rewards back into the ecosystem for the early participants and that side of things.
Yeah, no. Again, congrats on experimenting. I do think often experimentation leads to more experimentation. Case in point, what you just described. And when I was talking legacy NFT PFP brands could potentially not even necessarily directly compete, but just fork this, do something like it. not putting Steve on the spot because he's on stage here today, but yeah, I'd said previously, I think there's an opportunity for a gacha in the OpenSea world. I don't know exactly the mechanics, but I could see it working. I could see, looking back at like the voyages, like versus me going and buying a $5 NFT to complete a voyage. I'd much rather pull a $5 spin and have a chance to win a Grail NFT. Like that's just me, but I do think there's something there. And back to applauding Adam for bringing this to the market. Like it is good. We need more experimenters. So I want to be at least level it in my takes here and try to get both sides of it. Like, and I do see both sides as someone who's, for all intents and purposes, an outsider in this ecosystem. Drew, I'm going to hand it to you next, and I'm going to step away for a quick coffee break. So if you can give me like 60, 90 seconds of air cover, that'd be awesome. Drew, if you're still with us. Nope.
I can hold it for 60 seconds and just follow on from you, Chris. So that's all right.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Drew's still got his hand up, so I'm not sure. Maybe have to take a lap. But yeah, the mic is yours, Callum. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think like one of the most exciting things of NFTs is obviously when you like mint a new collection and you don't know what you're going to get. And I think that's what was really exciting and relatable to me with FWA. And I think you're right. There are collections out there like if you're earning royalties or whatever it might be, and you can funnel some revenue into some sort of gacha mechanic where you help support your own floor, but then people can spin a gacha to, like, imagine that with Yuga Labs. There's a lot of people out there that I'm sure would love to get a Bored Ape, and if you could spin $100 and the odds were fair relative to whatever the cost was, but someone would win that and be able to join like the exclusive club that everyone, I say everyone, but a lot of people are trying to get into. And the same with OpenSea. Like, I would love to see like some of that revenue going back into supporting NFT floors and giving people opportunities to get into projects that they might not be able to, but they might have $50, $100 to throw at a gacha and have that fun and excitement and dopamine hit of not knowing what you're going to get. And then if you do pull something really rare, then it's really fun. Yeah, go on, Chris. Sorry.
Didn't mean to step on you there. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, it's you're right. Like, FWA has shown that experimentation is what people enjoy. It's what we need. And I think it was just a matter of just like not being in tune with the people who are actually using the protocol for what it was perceived to be. But there's hope. We never know what will happen. Adam's obviously a smart guy. He's had a lot of success, and I think it would be silly to throw away what has worked to then move on to something else when it could be refined and something else like really good could come out of it.
Yeah, it's ironic. I'm not sure if Drew is able to get off mute now or not. But you mentioned someone winning a Bored Ape on a gacha. Can't make this up. Drew actually did that. Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga was early to the gacha mechanic, and Drew had some nice balls that won him a Bored Ape back on I don't remember what they actually called it, but yeah, bring back the I personally didn't. Again, I've shared this previously, but if anyone's listening in or catch the recording, I'd rather pay for the balls than have to click 700 times a day to potentially win. Maybe that's like your mythical. You got 0.01% chance to win an ape every time you check out from the merch store, and most likely you're gonna get maybe discounted shipping or free shipping. But yeah, include some grails in there, both NFTs as well as some physical grails. I think it'd be a hit. I'm gonna check. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can gamify everything. Like especially if you're one of the big IP brands, like if you have a gacha, you can have like opportunities for like IP licensing. Like if you're spinning maybe to win like a grand prize, but another perk is that you might land a IP license that gets your ape or whatever NFT onto like a mainstream product. Like there's so much that can be done. That I think just being overlooked, and it's another way for these companies to generate revenue and funnel some of that back into like a gacha is great, because if you are generating revenue from it and then you keep feeding the machine with like NFTs, for example, off the floor, then you're helping to support there. You're getting people into the club that might not be able to afford otherwise. You're creating other opportunities like IP licensing and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's loads of fun stuff that can be done. It just needs to be delivered in the right way by the right teams, and then I think it would just, you know, become a common theme across the NFT and Web3 space.
It's funny because who's big crypto mentions, kind of like when I was talking about, you know, the OpenSea Gacha, kind of like Magic Eden has Lucky Buy, I guess. Although I've never really thought of Lucky Buy like that until just now. You're right. Words matter. The UI matters. And even though that, yeah, I guess they've had that, it's never landed that way in my brain. I think because the UI, maybe because it honestly, what it got me thinking is like, it's like the Google used to have like, I'm feeling lucky search. I never got that. It just made no sense to me. And I think that this doesn't make any sense that I'm comparing the Google search I feel lucky to the Magic Eden Lucky Buy, but that's just my brain works in a weird way like that. And for some quick market research, Raving Ping, also known as a Raving Ape, likes the idea, says, listening to Coffee with Captain and talk of using Gacha in other places like OpenSea, which had me thinking if part of the NFT trading fees OpenSea charge were automatic Gacha pools, I think a lot of people would feel differently about paying them. Might be something there. Just sharing ideas and opinions and a little bit of quick market research this morning. I want to check in with Drew, and then we'll go back to Ira. Drew, is the mute button working now? Nope. Back to listener. Ira, the mic is yours.
Yeah, I want to say a good example on my view is, do you remember Blockchain Blast? So they had a YOLO Games site, and I gambled on this site a lot. So what you did there is you spin the wheel like everywhere, but with every your entry, you also collected points, and later on you could also participate in lottery. And they had mini games, also gambling games, how you could, participate in that. And you also, if I'm not mistaken, received some points, some rewards for posting about them. So they included all the mechanics in their site, and I think it was like super successful. And when Blast ended, they ended as well, as I know, but I think they had a best strategy, because I was like back on this side a lot, and with collecting points, it was really cool to see how you can, spin the wheel not one only time, but you need 5 times, for example, to get this lottery ticket, and it's so addictive. You playing game or something like that.
Yeah. Be Epic adding, I agree the Gacha mechanics could bring new community members that are not concerned about floor price. Potentially, it also can go the other way, to where everyone who's hitting, they're just dumping into floors, and it creates another, blur farming type environment. There's also regulatory stuff. There's like, it's easier said than done. It's far easier for an indie dev to experiment than it is a billion-dollar protocol, or a venture-backed company, a publicly traded company. Like, much easier for experimenters to experiment on chain than it is for the OpenSeas, the Robinhoods, the Coinbases of the world. Like, it is what it is. And it doesn't mean that what the experimenters are doing are wrong or illegal, but it's just, they're taking on risk, where when they say, what do you have to lose? It might be the protocol gets sunset. Whereas for some of these established brands and companies, even the Yugas of the world, there's, jurisdiction matters too. Like, you're talking global companies, and they have a lot that they have to take into consideration, that, a serial entrepreneur might just geogate something, or maybe, hey, there's some risk here, but it's a gray area. You're probably fine. That might fly for an on-chain, an indie dev, an experimenter. Probably not going to fly for, the more established brands. We do have an update, some breaking news from Adam. He just put a Good Morning Crypto Twitter post out. I'm going to go to that next. Before I do so, let's check in with Drew, the winner of, maybe the only winner of the planet who's won a Bored Ape from a Gacha pool. Because I know there was maybe some in FWA, but I don't know if any have been won yet. Drew might be the one and only. Drew, congratulations again.
So read that post, and then I have a point after that.
Okay,
that'll feed into it.
Let's go see what I did share this up top for anyone that wants to read it in your by yourself. But for those following along or listening to the audio or the podcast later, Adam just sent this out like a minute ago, 2 minutes ago, actually 5 minutes ago now. It says, "Good morning, Crypto Twitter. Thank you all for the support of DMs and the constructive feedback on the timeline. It's been an intense night after the last TokenWorks tweet. That being said, this is what I signed up for when I decided to build in crypto. Building a fully on-chain protocol is an extremely difficult task and even harder to do so with a live token from day one. I try my best to plan things out weeks from today and follow them to a T, but you don't know how things are going to play out. I've been extremely transparent about the mechanisms and plans since day one. Every variable that can be changed is published with its range, as well as the plan to redirect future fees to buybacks after the emissions period. Getting the FWA token in the hands of participants and believers of the product has always been the goal for the first tweet period. If you don't like the token launch, there are thousands of products out there with points programs that I'm sure will TGE perfectly. Touche. If you don't like the product itself, I totally understand too. If you're part of the crypto art side of Twitter that views me as evil for trying to build something cool for NFTs, we can amicably part ways here. I personally find fully on-chain financialized systems to be a work of art, especially here on Ethereum." The backstory there, I'm interjecting now. There were some people who are deep in the art space that were not fans of FWA or this mechanic. Yeah, I think that's an opinion. They're entitled to it, but I respect Adam here for taking the stance. And again, we got to remind ourselves it's permissionless. Anyone can build what they want on Ethereum. You don't have to participate if you don't want. That doesn't mean they're evil. I'm not going to respond to all the various dunks and takes I've seen across the timeline, as there are too many. One thing I will respond to is the questions about my long-term alignment. TokenWorks has historically launched an idea once a month for over a year. When a specific idea takes off, we run with it. Punk strategy was our main focus for 4 months. Had we not kept iterating, FWA would not exist. TokenWorks has a huge financial incentive to continue to work on FWA. As of this tweet, 1,735 ETH has been earned as protocol revenue, with 1,093 ETH going to TokenWorks, that's 63%, and the remainder going to Season 2 holders, that's 30%, and Tito, 7%. I'm not sure what Tito is. Is that does anyone know? Tito, is it another dev, a partner? I really have no idea.
Isn't that the 10,000 tokens?
Oh, 10,000 tokens. Yeah, probably so. That would make sense. I didn't know 7% was going back there, but yeah, that would make sense. Past performance is not indicative of future success. I don't know what will happen in the future, but I do know we'll keep working on FWA and adding new ideas, mechanisms as long as we can. Since we'll be redirecting 80% of future protocol fees to buybacks of the token, it makes sense for TokenWorks to hold as much of the token as possible. I said yesterday we would use 10% of revenue to buy the token as a team reserve, but after discussions overnight, we'll be raising to 30% of the funds earned by TokenWorks thus far. That's 327 ETH. A contract will be deployed today to autonomously handle these buybacks over the next 30 days. These tokens may be used in the distant future for mechanisms sold or burned. There is no way to please everyone. Thank you to those who have responded critically, but with a level head. If you jumped at my neck at the first mistake, I don't think this protocol or TokenWorks is for you, because there will be many more. The TokenWorks. All right. I kind of dig it. My thinking out loud, if yesterday when he said he'd use 10% of revenue to buy the token as a team reserve, today upping it to 30% after the blowback or feedback, do we think there's a different response if it was launched at 30% instead of 10%? Do we think there's the blowback? Do we think there's the crash in token price if he comes out at we're gonna use 30% instead of 10%? I don't know the answer, and we'll never know, I guess. But I'm curious if anyone has any thoughts there. Does changing from 10% to 30%, does it move the needle for you? Do you feel differently if you were feeling a certain way before? And then I guess the follow up to that would be, would it have mattered if he had said this last night instead of responding this morning? I don't know if any of you on stage have any thoughts on that, but yeah, I mean, well said. Let's see the comments if people are how they're responding to it. It looks like increased buybacks. That's bullish. This is awesome. Keep building. Legend. Keep doing what you're doing. There's no stopping the train.
I mean, do we know what the actual tangible difference is between 10% and 30%? Like an ETH number? It's always funny when you do percentages and it's like, yeah, like 4 ETH difference. I know it's more than that.
So they've earned 1,735 so far in protocol revenue. So using that's 1,735 ETH. 10% would be 173 ETH. 30% is going to be pushing 500 ETH.
Oh, it's of that. Okay, yeah. So that's a pretty big difference.
And you're talking about a token that doesn't have, I mean, what do we say, a $7-8 million market cap? Like, I think that moves the number. I think that's now when and how it's done. I don't know if it's says yet, but yeah, on a token with a market cap of the size, like I would imagine that has a pretty big impact on price action.
Chris, the reference to Tito, by the way, it's not 10,000 tokens. It's the TokenWorks protocol artist.
Okay, it is an artist.
Yeah, I've commented in the Spaces chat with the link to his profile.
Awesome.
Yeah, protocol artist TokenWorks.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Man, so I'm not downplaying the artist. Artists also should get paid, but pretty good gig for that artist, because there's not been a ton of artwork, right? It's the NFTs that are in here are already existing NFTs. I guess art on the 10,000 tokens, the FWA logo maybe, but yeah, 7% of $1,700 or 1,700 ETH it's not nothing. The artist might be making out best on this and not having to deal with the blowback that Adam is on the timeline. So maybe that's it. Is yeah, you can be a serial experimenter if you want. The better path might be a artist who supports serial experimenters, get paid. Looks like someone might have just won a punk. Oh, different. Never mind. I saw Mayhem had a comment and then shared a link. We'll go to that next update from Mega ETH. But any other thoughts? We ran long on this topic. Was not planning to spend the majority of the morning on FWA, but good, healthy conversation, good back and forth. And I applaud Adam for the response this morning, for leaning into it, and while at the same time not really. I mean, yes, he made a change, upping it from 10% to 30%, but at the same time, kind of said, "Hey, you don't have. I'm not forcing you to do this. Like, you don't have to play the game. This may not be for you." I kind of like the approach. A little bit of swagger, a little bit of, some might say, ego, but I think do whatever you want. Like the only thing I think that could is, and I should go back and watch the whole video because I've not seen the whole thing. The clip I saw could have been taken out of context. There could have been more disclaimers before or after it. That's the only thing that the staunch critics, I think, have a little bit of merit, is if he did say one thing, did something different, and that saying that thing got people to pull the Gacha thing a lot more. I can understand them taking issue with that. I have not. I did not watch the full video in great detail. Yeah, no one's won an ape yet from FWA. Someone did win a punk, and it was the same person who got exploited. Their punk got exploited the first version, which Adam refunded. Then they came back and won the punk the second time, and Adam, actually, the punk was his. So very interesting. I did not realize it was that deep. Drew, go ahead and get back in here.
Yeah, so I was just going to say one more thing too around going back to the product market fit and stuff. We're going to talk about it. Alex was bugging. Like, I don't think for me it would make sense if Bored Apes or Pudgy or Cleanosaurus or Good Vibes or even OpenSea like created this. I mean, what's the volume on Magic Eden's Gacha-esque thing? Like, I personally, since Magic Eden dropped their marketplace stance and focused on Solana only and doing the buyback, I can't tell you last time I went to Magic Eden. Like, I feel like if OpenSea were to implement this, they'd go from being a marketplace to a gambling platform. Like, that's what they would be labeled as.
There's real risk in that. And actually, I think Magic Eden is going that route, right? I've not been following
like
closely, but
they're totally abandoning it. I mean, it always reminds me of I think it was Zaxby's, like the fast food chicken chain, where the founder of Zaxby's had so many investors come to him and they're like, hey, you need to expand to burgers, you need to expand to other things than chicken. And he said, no, all you have to do is one thing. And if you do it the best, then you will be the best at that one thing. And that's what you can do for the rest of your life. So it's just a matter of like, once you find that product market fit, are you going to be the best at it? Or are you going to have to, expand out to be not the best, but good at a few things?
Yeah. Right on a good to great. Dated myself a little bit, but I think the book still holds, focus on what you can be the best in the world at. And there is the risk when you introduce stuff like this of leaning too far into it, becoming a gambling platform. I do think on the Magic Eden side, I think how they branded it, I think the UI, I think does matter to some degree. And because someone who's very bullish on the gacha mechanic, and I do think others could incorporate it, not as their core product. And that's why I think like something simple, like, and there are so brands that are doing this like in the Web2 world. Like this is something you could add on like to Shopify checkouts. I'm pretty sure you can add these gacha. It's not even like free shipping. It's like your item that you're purchasing could end up being free. Maybe that's taking it too far. I'm just thinking more of like I don't like the scratch off. I don't consider it gambling. I guess I didn't pay anything for it. And what I'm suggesting is let me put an extra $5 on my order, $10 on my order, a chance to win a Grail item. If it's just a part of the process of checking out, I don't know as if I think it'd be fine. But I hear you, OpenSea is a different realm, and people, we can say one thing, and at the end of the day, everyone who's upside down and doesn't win anything, they're just it's just more blowback that OpenSea would have to deal with, more FUD on the timeline. Ira shared YOLO games, blast from the past. My pun is intended there. For those that were on the blast days, I'm kind of blown away. I opened it up. I did not realize YOLO games, which it was just on chain casino. This says the home of DJ gambling. 691,000, not dollars, ETH in volume. Just absolutely bananas. And it was like very rudimentary, simple gambling games, but mind blown. If you would have asked me how much volume YOLO games did, I would have never guessed over 600,000 ETH. Just absolutely wild. Go ahead and get back in here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the difference with FWA and the likes of Magic Eden and the Lucky Spin is that there was an incentive in terms of when you spin, even if you didn't get what you spent back in terms of an NFT that you won or the ETH that was attached to it, you still were accumulating FWA, which is why it could have worked really well for OpenSea when they did their like farming side of things, but or the chess. So with Magic Eden, it is literally gambling. You're just speculating on specific odds relative to how much ETH you front, right? So if you
don't you get the Magic Eden token though? That's worth like nothing.
Actually, I don't know. That's a good question.
I think that was the initial farming part of it, right? Wasn't that still during like their last season or something? I honestly can't remember, but I think there's a little incentive there.
Yeah, I should have probably looked into that. So maybe that incentive was there. But with these other brands, there's obviously other ways of doing it. Like Chris, I think the way you positioned it in terms of if you're buying something in the apparel store and then you get an option at the end for like an additional $5, you can spin a gacha and maybe win an ape or something. I think everybody would do that. And it also incentivizes people to then go and spend more in the store because they might want to degen and participate in a gacha mechanic. So there's definitely ways to incorporate this across like different brands and keep it like legally sound. It's just obviously a heavier lift than doing it as an experiment, as TokenWorks are obviously doing.
Yep, and ironclad T's and C's and all that. So I get it. It's easy for me to say it and suggest it. Much more difficult and challenging for especially a funded whether venture backed or publicly traded. Like it's much more challenging for them to actually launch it. I've not used Magic Eden for a while. So this is new to me, just seeing it, because I went to go find out details about this, the Lucky Pool. I remember it when it used to be Lucky Pool. They've evolved, they've changed it, and fully leaning into the gacha mechanics. So if you've not been on OpenSea, or excuse me, if you've not been on Magic Eden for a while like me, it's the first time seeing this. They have a platinum NFT pack where you can buy a pack for 1.39359 SOL, which is $100 USD. And you basically, you win, you got a 0.3% chance of winning a holographic, 1.3% chance winning a gold, 7.4% chance winning a silver, and so on and so forth. That's the platinum pack. They have a sapphire pack. They have a emerald pack. They have a master pack, which is $1,000 USDC. So yeah, they have absolutely introduced a pack. So this is actually powered by Collector Crypt. So they are, what have you said? Talked about one of these other gacha companies, white label and private label. So that's exactly what they've done here. And I'm not saying this is, you can chase a mega girl up to $18,000 in the master pack. Cool. Maybe they're getting volume, maybe they're not, because it's on chain, we could probably check. But I also think one of the ways that, whether it's OpenSea or Yuga, now Yuga built their own gacha mechanic on chain prior to this popping off. But one of the ways that these other platforms, these other third parties, NFT, they could also partner with someone who's already built the tech. They could partner with a Beezy, they could partner with a Collector Crypt, so on and so forth. And I know it's, again, still easier said than done, but yeah, this is the first time I've seen this. I'm not been there for a while. And yeah, so they have taken their, lucky spin to a whole nother level with these gacha pack purchases. And yeah, they've got a gold NFT pack, a platinum NFT pack, a bronze mini NFT pack, and then the other packs include they're more what you'd expect from the Collector Crypts and the Beezys of the world, where it's a it's an RWA, it's a Pokemon card. Really interesting. Callum, go ahead.
Yeah, just following on from Adam's recent tweet, I just realized that they closed all the so you can no longer accrue FWA now until like you can't physically spin. So he's like tweeted at the perfect time. People are like, I'm seeing on the timeline way more bullish, like some of the big participants with the increase from 10 to 30%. So we might actually see the token rally at launch, and people start to buy it up, which would then naturally drive more people to play. So he could have, he's played it really well with the tweet he's put out, and we could see some uptake in the token when it does go for open trade.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And I know I've probably sounds like I've played both sides of this morning, because I am. Like I don't know if there's a right answer. I do think that devs, founders, teams all should be able to make money. They should generate revenue. They don't have to buy back tokens. They don't have to buy back and burn tokens. And in some cases, that might not be the best path forward. I just saw another post that hit. I'll share here and read through this kind of in real time. I think it's getting the same gist, but I've not read the whole thing. So apologies as I read through this in real time. I'm going to keep pointing out the shocking state of affairs we're in token land. Based on this metric of holder revenue, if a protocol doesn't buy back tokens, it doesn't count as revenue. That'd be like saying a company's revenue doesn't count unless it's directed towards share buybacks. Part of me wants to write this off as insane, but I do understand where it's coming from. This is the market saying I have so little trust in any protocol that unless you put the dollar back in my hand, I don't trust that I'll ever get it. It's the best solid indicator I've ever seen in a market that there is absolutely zero trust. It's also incredibly steep price that no company could ever pay long term. If all revenues are diverted to buybacks, there's nothing to reinvest. Something simply has to give here. The state of affairs is not sustainable. It makes no sense. And yeah, I think I said like the whole 99% buyback and burn, that never made any sense to me. I get it, but I think there's probably somewhere in between from 99% revenue buyback, token buyback and burn to zero. And I still net out, like, if you're in a pre-token phase, whether you've already TGE'd or not, if you're in a points phase, if you're in a farm phase, you're in a phase where the token's not fully live on the market, what you say matters. And I think that is, again, I just need to go watch the whole video because I could be taking something out of context. That is the those that are critiquing this hard. I can be empathetic with them that, hey, they made actions, they spent money in this gotcha machine that they knew was negative EV on one expectation because of what was said, and yeah. So now he's changing it back to the 30%. Closer to maybe what was said. Would it have mattered if it was done last night? I don't know. Maybe not. But at least taking the feedback, taking the critiques, and yeah, Cursor Cyclops says fumbles. I would say recovered. Sure, but you had to fumble to recover the fumble. I think, based on sentiment last night, it was a fumble. Like the space was pretty upset. Some of the biggest supporters, some of the whales, were upset on what was communicated after something else was communicated previously, and so they've seemingly looks like he might have maybe recovering that fumble based on the change this morning. That we're probably not having this conversation if he comes out and does what he said he was going to do originally. Or maybe if he comes out at 30% last night, maybe we're still not having the conversation. But there was absolutely an uproar. There was people who were deep in the ecosystem, spent tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and were unhappy with what was announced. Comms matter, communication matters, and yeah, I'm not telling him what to do, but I do think it was, we could agree that last night's communication was a fumble in some regard. Doesn't mean it's over, and maybe the fumble was recovered this morning with the pivot, but I think the pivot shows that he agreed there was a fumble, or that the space wasn't happy with what was initially communicated. So all that said, I was supposed to do a market update. I'm going to do that real quick. We'll do kind of a flyover market update today. While we punted the It's Called Football show to tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do have Doma on air coming up at 11 o'clock today. So before I get to our market update, I want to give our board sponsors another shout out. Buycapcoffee.com to take one of these board spots. Shout out to our center sponsor, OS Wiki. Frosty's the legend there. If you go to Buy Cap Coffee, you can see all these partner spots. You can click through to find their sites as well. And jumping right over to our market update, kind of a green day. Actually, everything but XRP, at least everything in the top 10. XRP is down 0.25%, Doge down 0.37%. Everything else is up green. Everything else is not huge, but slightly green is better than a lot red. Hyperliquid, the big winner on the day, it's up 3.34% or 3.43%. Everything else is hovering between about 0.5% up to 1%. Bitcoin up 0.78, ETH up 0.5, and no real. I mean, like I said, Hyperliquid, Pump Fund, the big winner on the day, actually up 6.94%. Cosmos up 6%. Meme Core up 4%. Hyperliquid in at 6 at 3.42%. Heading back over though to NFTs for a quick flyover update there, and then we will look for any closing thoughts, final comments. NFT land, stockbrokers still running 6.44 ETH, down slightly from yesterday, but still crushing the volume, over 50 ETH in volume once again. CryptoPunks, 100 ETH in volume. Pit Boys from that stockbrokers ecosystem continue to surge. It's up to 0.23, up 50% on the day. Would have been was a good win for anyone who got in on those yesterday when we were talking about them here on the show. 97 ETH in volume. The Pit Boys out there mining that derp. Pudgy Penguin, 60 ETH in volume. They're up 0.1% of the day. We got a new one here. Zaibatsu Waggies. First time seeing this. It's USDG, which is Robinhood chain, right? It's a stable on Robinhood chain. So a new Robinhood collection here. It's done 155K in total volume. It's weird seeing it priced in USDG instead of ETH. But be do your own research. All these do degen mints. A lot of them will speed run to zero, but have fun momentum trading. Just know the game you're playing. Back to the leaderboard. Apes up 4.9% of the day. We didn't even talk about that merch drop, but I'll highlight that here in a second. Stockbrokers, I mentioned, pulled back slightly, 6.5, still 6.44 ETH. Mutants down 2%. Null brokers, sounds like another derivative on Robinhood chain, up 1,000%, but it's still 0.0049. It's $9. Again, be careful with any of these. Often these degen mints, it's your momentum trading. In and out would be the play if you're going to play it. Unlimited by Angela. This is a new collection, or did the floor price crash on her collection? This is, yeah, it looks like the same collection. So down a lot, because there for a while after she went viral, these ran up to, I want to say like 5 ETH, and floor down 50% on the day, top upper 0.36, and yeah, down pretty big from where it ran up to. Speaking of momentum trading, someone goes viral, might be a time to at least consider taking some profits. Mind Boys up 20% on the day to 3K Ape on 186,000 Ape in volume. Satari Must Die pulled back a little further. It's 0.085. Hopefully now that its price point's a little more palatable, we see some more experimenting in the burning. I'll be, I have not done any burns yet. I still hold a few Satari Must Die. It was just it's complex. It's not something to rush into. And but I like the experiment. It's thus far the burning has not positive price action has not been a response of the burning mechanism being turned on. But maybe now that it's down below 0.1, we see some more burning and some more creations there. Doodle's down 2%. Little Pudgy's down 1.8%. That's most other deeds up 4%. I saw those couple sweeps over there. Rookie traders. Yeah, brokers, traders, all the derivatives are out in full force. Do your own research on these degen mints? Not to tell you what to buy or not to buy. I would just say if you're looking for a degen mint that's a beta play off of stockbrokers, I would encourage you to get in the Discord and look at one that's actually part of that ecosystem and will be leveraging the ecosystem in the community. I think those are like what we're seeing with Pit Boys and Mind Boys. Probably more likely outcome of success for the ones that are actually in part of the ecosystem. But that's our daily market update. A little later in the day than normal. We'll be back to, as always, we'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. If you're new here, if you just found us today, we do go live every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Today, you get a bonus. We've got Doma on air talking about Doma. Good time to highlight our friends over there since we have a Doma on air today. Let me do a proper play in here. I meant to do it yesterday, talking RWAs all day with Simple Farmer, but the show got away. And that said, this is Keeping It Real, brought to you by Doma.
Buying domains was low, Doma changing the game. One bridge, one standard, now the systems move the same. Registrar, stay central, keep the trust and control. DNS and compliance, still they play the key role. Traded on chain, let new markets arise. Domain value unlocked, welcome to Domain Fi.
$360 billion a domain. Often historically, they're just sit there parked and they're inactive. You can now make those domains productive. You can bring them on chain. You can tokenize them. You all kinds of DeFi activity. Thanks to DomainFi, powered by Doma. Head over to doma.xyz to learn more. You can scan that QR code in the top if you'd like. But Robinhood continues to crush on the RWA front. They now have more RWAs than Ondo, Denari, and every other tokenization platform. Pretty crazy considering they only launched stock tokens this last summer. This is Stacy here sharing this post. Here's the top 10 right now for RWAs. Robinhood has 1,912, Alpha Ledger 1,425, Mercado 847, Xstock 644, Ondo 441, Denari 103, Binance 57, Swarm Markets 48, Open Trade 35. Their total RWA value is up 130% in the last 30 days. And yeah, she says I'm fairly confident leaderboard will look different a year from now. I tend to agree, but also makes me bullish that, more bullish stockbrokers, the fact that they have landed on what is looking more and more like the RWA chain, at least as it relates to tokenized stocks. And congrats on the early success over there, Robinhood chain, and more. But for more on Doma, tune in at 11 a.m. Eastern today. We'll be right back on the Doma protocol handle. Let me pin that up top. If you're not yet following Doma, go give them some love. We'll be talking more about tokenizing domains and highlighting some OG domainers live at 11 o'clock today. Pin that post up top. Doma on Air, episode 10. Going to be joined by Chad Falcony, who's the owner of applications.com, which just recently went live on Doma. Applications is a category defining domain for the entire software economy, going liquid for the first time on August 12th. I said recently it's going live soon. It's going live on August 12th, and you can hear from the owner of that today. Recently, what did just go live was FYI.xyz. Recently went live on Doma. But yeah, go check out Doma.xyz and tune in to Doma on Air at 11 a.m. today. I'm going to hold the Mega ETH thought for tomorrow. And Katie, I want to give, I've got a pack here I'm going to rip, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. We got a full house. I'll show you what all is in here, but the pack I'll rip tomorrow here on the show, courtesy of the one and only Teacher Katie. Sent me a vibes pack and a couple of cards here for my 29th birthday that I celebrated recently. So I'll open the cards. We're going to save the pack. We'll do the pack rip tomorrow to give Katie some more love before the end of the show. Oh, wow. I was thinking one card in here, but there's a whole ton of cards. Thank you very much. Very, very generous. And the big card in question, the one that it will be a grail in my collection, is the Rec Guy card from the Pingu set. Absolutely love it. Great looking card. Big fan of Rect and the team over there, and big fan of Teach, the one and only. I've got a few other cards here with the online code, so I can play a little more on chain, and some pretty sweet ones. This is not a Pudgy. We got a Visionary Burb. Got an Arctic Ring. Ooh, good vibes only. I should have manicured, gave myself a manicure. We got a classy bow tie. Whoop. We've got Vibe Scan. First time seeing that one. And then the one I mentioned, the Rec card, which is a grail for my collection. Oh wow, there's not one but two of those Rec guys. Jeez. Generous Katie, thank you very much. You overdid yourself. Didn't have to do all that, but greatly, greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. I will rip the Vibes pack tomorrow on stream, and then I'm gonna have to get in and start playing the game now that I'm hooked up with a few of those online cards. Thank you very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And thank you all for being here. And if anyone else wants to see themselves or their brand featured on the sponsor board, you can do that at buycapcoffee.com. These, you can take over the outside spots for $10. The center spots, it's 114 today. It depreciates 5% a day. There's a 20% premium after someone takes it down, and then it comes back 5% a day. So thank you to all the supporters. Thank you to the sponsors. Go check out OS Wiki. You can do that at oswiki.xyz. And it's a great place to do any research on any of the ape chain stuff, any of the Yuga ecosystem. There's more than just that on there. But especially if you're shopping other deeds or any of these, it's more than just your standard 10K PFP traits. oswiki.xyz is the space to do it. Thanks as always, Frosties, for the support. Greatly appreciate you. Appreciate y'all being here. Running long again today. We'll be back to that 8 to 10. We gotta finish at 10 o'clock tomorrow because we got It's Called Football. We moved to 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So tomorrow will be the standard 2-hour show. But whether it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours, some days we might push 3 hours. We'll get started every day at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And until tomorrow at 8, till today at 11. We'll be back in 35 minutes for this. You want to hang out a little longer. So we'll see you at 11 o'clock talking Doma on air, or we'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. And until then, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.